Going to be able to link up with some of our reporters on the ground to bring you to speed with a number of issues making headlines across the country. We have Oko Kusa, who is in Vihiga County, where the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission is leading celebrations to mark the International Anti-Corruption Day. We'll also be linking up with our reporter Sharon Baranga, who will be joining us live from Mandera County, where the inaugural Somali Cultural Week celebrations is being held for the very first time after decades. But before that, now the Ethics and Anti-Corruption is leading the celebrations to mark the International Anti-Corruption Day. The celebrations are being held in Vihiga, Bomet and Meru counties. NTV's Oko Kusa joins us live now from Vihiga. Oko, what is happening?
Well, Zainab, as you have mentioned there, yes, the celebrations have kicked off here at the municipal grounds in Mbale. We have the chairman of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, that is Eliud Webukala himself, leading the event here. Earlier on, there was the governor of Kisii, James Ongwae, who gave his speech and left to attend to other functions. And right now, just a while ago, the Speaker of the County Assembly of Vihiga has just given a speech, and right now it is the Deputy Governor of the same county giving his speech there. Remember, there is also the Governor of this county, that is Wilbur Tichilo, attending this particular event. So far, that is what has happened. We expect the speeches of the senior official of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to make their statements here in a short while. But maybe just to bring you up to speed, bring the viewers up to speed with what is happening so far in the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, is that last week on Friday they gave out some statement which indicated that between July and December this year they have managed to recover 207 million shillings, which they claim was in the wrong pockets, and that they cite as a milestone achievement as far as they are concerned in the fight against corruption. They are also saying that out of the 207 million shillings that they have recovered, they are now talking of 20.8 billion shillings that they have managed to recover since 2013. That is the last 5 years. And again, they're also saying that 3.6 billion shillings have been recovered from assets that they claim have been acquired illegally. So far, the Commission is also saying that 85 cases have been presented before court, have been filed before court since 2013, and those are in regards to assets that they claim have been acquired illegally. Again, maybe before I hand over back to you, I would like to bring to your attention that next week on Friday, the nominee for the position of the Chief Executive Officer of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, that is Twalib Abdallah, is expected to appear before the Parliamentary Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs for vetting. Remember, if in case he goes through, Twalib will be taking over from Halake Wako, who has been serving since 2013. And has less than 2 months before his term expires. Remember, Halake took over the position in 2013 after the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission was disbanded. The defunct KECC was disbanded in 2012. And so on Friday, as I've mentioned, that Twalib will be appearing before the Parliamentary Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs for vetting. If in case he goes through, then he'll become the next CEO of Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. So there's a lot of issues. We, of course, will expect our Bukala here to touch more on those issues that have been mentioned there. The war, of course, against corruption is something that has captured all the citizens of this country's attention, and it's being followed very keenly. And so we expect to hear more from the Commission today on what has happened so far, besides those things that I've mentioned there before. Zainab.
All right, thank you so much, Oko Kusa, there from Vihiga County. It is the Anti-Corruption Day, and a number of issues will be discussed there. We'll be having that later on in our subsequent bulletins. Mandera County hosts its inaugural Somali Cultural Week for the first time in decades to celebrate peace and diversity. Governor Ali Rob is hosting the event that brings together communities from Kenya, Somalia and Ethiopia in one festival. Mandera has emerged from setbacks of violent extremism and terror attacks which saw dozens of innocent people killed. However, the border wall between Somalia and Kenya has partly contributed to restoration of peace, and Mandera town has enjoyed relative calm since 2016. NTV's Sharon Baranga now joins us live. Sharon?
Thank you, Zainab. We are coming to you live from Moi Stadium in County 009, that is Mandera County, where we are celebrating the Somali Cultural Week that is starting today and it will end on Tuesday. It is a 3-day event. Now, the event is historical because it is the first to happen in decades, and it meant to knit together cultures from Kenya, Ethiopia and Somalia. Now, the success of this event is partly attributed to the investment in peace in this country. And now I am joined by the governor of this county, Ali Roba, who's going to tell us more about what we are going to expect in this event. Karibu sana, Mheshimiwa. Seeing that you're dressed in a special attire that Kenyans are not really used to seeing you in. Can you kindly explain to us briefly what this attire is all about?
This is a typical Somali attire. This is our traditional attire. This is what my grandfather and great-grandfather have worn as the attire. And this is the typical what they carry normally in their normal day-to-day activities. This is called barkin, and it's normally used for resting. That most pastoral communities do use it, the Turkana, Samburu, and those guys. And this is called tasbih. It's a rosary, but the traditional way for purpose of thanking God. This is sali, is for purpose of prayer. They always carry this wherever they go. This is kitab. This is the Holy Quran in traditional cover, and they normally carry this. A Somali without a knife is not Somali, and so this is the knife. And we have these traditional ropes that we normally carry. As you are aware, the Somalis have really had a bit of a challenge in terms of displaying their culture. What Mandera is doing on behalf of the rest of the Somalis in Kenya is to pioneer a traditional, cultural event that all Somalis across the country will be able to come, and other Kenyans will be able to come to be able to see the rich African culture, celebrating our unity and the diversity of our population as we travel and see Tobongolure, the Loyangalani Cultural Festival, Samburu Camel Derby, and others. We get the opportunity to do this. And that is why we are here, as you've seen today. We can cover the cultural display that is happening, and we want to urge all Kenyans to get the opportunity to see what their country has for them in terms of that piece of the Somali culture that they are not used to or they are not exposed to, as you've said, properly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so kindly explain to us the kind of investment that you've put to ensure that there is security in this county.
Well, as you are aware, and this event also is a culmination of celebration of peace as in our county. At the advent of devolution, we've had a bit of challenge in terms of tribal conflict, but for the last 5 years now, this county is extremely stable with respect to the integration of our communities and coexistence, as it is. And if you remember in the news, it was during election of 2013, we've had a bit of a challenge. We've invested quite a lot. We were the only county that had a fully fledged Ministry of Cohesion and Integration, fully funded, to make sure that we have this relative togetherness. And of course, we've had a bit of challenge also with cross-border impact of terrorism and radicalization. That also, in partnership with the national government, we've been able to do quite a bit. And I'm happy to report for the last 3 years, we've not had a single terror incident in this town. We've had a bit of IEDs, attacks, cowardly attacks along the road on the border, but we've not had what we used to have before. That is why the community has to come out and get this celebration of our diversity and peace. Thank you.
So it is going to be quite an eventful 3-day festival in Mandera County.
Absolutely. Actually, most of the residents are telling me, Governor, this should be official attire throughout. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you so much. That has been Governor Ali Roba from Mandera County. Of course, we are going to be here for the next 3 days to bring you updates on how the event is going to take place. Back to you, studio.
All right, thank you so much, Sharon. I think, Sharon, you look very beautiful in that attire. The Somali Cultural Week happening in Mandera County. We'll be having more from that area. But before that, majority of Kenyans at 49% feel that the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions is doing a good job, while majority of Kenyans at 59% feel the National Assembly is the poorest in terms of performance. This is according to the latest findings of a survey conducted by Infotrack Research Company. According to the findings, majority of Kenyans support the handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and opposition leader Raila Odinga. They at the same time feel the government is doing enough to fight corruption.
And when we asked Kenyans, in your view, is government doing enough to fight corruption in the country? Then we see that what the president, the DPP and DCI and the judiciary in combined effort are doing, and the media, because you're the ones who sensitize us on some of these, scandals, the things the efforts that you have made are actually bearing fruit, so that majority right now, 52% are saying that, something is being done about corruption, enough is being done about corruption. But we still see 43% of Kenyans feeling that a lot more needs to be done about corruption. We should sanction individuals who are found to be corrupt. So a quarter of Kenyans feel that those individuals that are found to be corrupt should surely be investigated and actually, tried in the court of law and sentenced. We shouldn't be seeing them walking out freely and making proclamations that we know as Kenyans are actually laughable. The other thing that we must do as a country forthwith is start reclaiming the assets that have been stolen.
Now, the Association of Matatu Operators has condemned the move to ban the 14-seater matatus without a clear plan of action by the government. The association, which held a press conference this morning, accused the government of not consulting widely when trying to implement changes on the roads and making decisions that are now coming to haunt them. Led by their chairman, Jamal Ibrahim, the association said the planned introduction of bus rapid transport, that is BRT, as part of the Nairobi transport system and phasing out the 14-seater matatus should be implemented in phases. According to them, the speed at which some of the decisions are being arrived by the national government and the Nairobi County government with regard to the BRT implementation is a scandal in waiting and should be scrutinized. They've also given the government 72 hours to rescind its decision to deny 14-seater matatus operating licenses.
Bogota ambao wamefanya BRT na speed train walikaa chini in Colombia, Bogota in Colombia. Walikaa chini wakakaa 18,000 meetings. Ndio BRT ka take place na wakaweza kuweza kuface out those small transport. So kukaa chini 18,000 meeting, tuliwauliza wakatuambia walikaa 8 years kwa mikutano. Ndio waweze kutoa hiyo plan yao, hiyo project yao ya BRT na speed train. So bwana CS, nadhani ile mikutano zimekaliwa ministry hazijapita hata 6 ndio BRT iletwe Nairobi. Just the other day AU imesema inaleta BRT imepump in 5 billion, does not mean that akili yenu yote imewekwa kwa ile 5 billion ndio maybe muanze kuskonda hiyo pesa. We are sorry for that if you are just waiting for that. And we are not ready to move out as 14-seater.
Security of shoppers at the Thika Road Mall has come under sharp scrutiny after one of them had their car broken into and money stolen. The shopper Eric Mwiruri Ndichu, whose vehicle was parked at the rooftop parking, alleged that unknown people broke into his Range Rover and made away with about 300,000 shillings, which he had just withdrawn from a bank within the mall. Mwiruri now says he will sue the management of the mall as there was no particular sign that expressly indicated that vehicles were parked at owner's risk. The mall's management last evening, when contacted, said the matter was now in the hands of the police and would not make further comments at that particular point. Police at the Kasarani police station say they are following leads as those who broke into the vehicle left a trail of blood.
The CCTV cameras are there alive. So and I am paying for the ticket of this place. So where is the security? I think they would be trading people from bank. That is what I can say. This is a system they have been doing here. The matter, and I will sue this mall, the Thika Road mall. I will sue because if I was told to park at your own risk, I would leave somebody in my car. There is nowhere you can see, nowhere is written that. I will sue this place. I talked to the management, they came here, they told me to report. I called the DCI and he gave me the DCIO for Kasarani, and they are here with me.
And away from that, religious leaders in Trans Nzoia County have asked the government to change the taxation brackets as a way of reducing the poverty levels and bridging the huge gap between the rich and the poor. SK Bishop Emmanuel Chemigich has proposed that the county adopts a progressive system that will require the wealthy Kenyans to pay higher taxes within the funds being channeled to a welfare kitty to help elevate property. The bishop noted that many Kenyans living below the poverty line are struggling to meet their basic needs while shouldering heavy taxation from a government that fails in meeting Kenyans' expectations in service delivery. He was speaking during an interdenominational music extravaganza at Noigam Primary School in Cherangani.
Sasa hivi Kenya yetu kuna gap kubwa, pengo kubwa katikati ya wale ambao wako nazo wanaendelea kuwa nazo zaidi na wale ambao hana hawakuwi nayo zaidi. Serikali ingilie kati na kuhakikisha wale ambao ni maskini kabisa wanapewa yale yote inahitajika, hata kama hiyo inamaanisha kwamba tuwapatie welfare fund ili watoto wao pia wapate nafasi ya kwenda shule. Hiyo ni njia moja ya kukatisha umaskini, ili familia moja izidumu tu kukaa katika umaskini kutoka kizazi kimoja hadi kizazi kingine.
A group of residents of Kibwezi East, Makueni County are seeking a permanent solution to the problem of attacks by wild animals from the nearby Tsavo Game Reserve. Many of them bear scars that will not only remind them of how lucky they are to be alive, but also as a constant reminder of the danger that looms in every bush, especially during the night. The conflict between humans and wildlife causes up to 20 injuries every month.
Missing body parts and scars imprinted on their bodies reminds them of a day that they would rather forget. Their injuries may seem healed, but the pain is felt from time to time. They said that the injuries were inflicted on them by rogue animals that breached their territory, invading theirs and almost ending their lives.
Nikaamua waje nipambane na simba badala ya kukimbia. Nikasimama na nikapenduka, tukaangaliana macho kwa macho. Simba imekuja moja kwa moja kwangu, na kwa bahati nilikuwa na fimbo kama hii.
In a month we can get not more than 20 or less than 15.
Musili Mtambuki has missing fingers that were snatched off his hand by a hyena. He had just finished settling his cow next to River Mtito Andei for a drink of water when he was attacked by the hyena.
Nakimbia pande hii, inavindukia pande hiyo. Na pande hii nyingine inazika mimi. Tinaambia kungangana hapo. Naambia kulia wapi? Nazaitiwa ni nani? Ile ng'ombe inakimbia kama pale, inaruti, inako inapika pisi sana, na okolewa ni ng'ombe yangu. Hapana mudu.
Mtambuki is now nicknamed Mbiti, to mean hyena, after escaping the scavenger's jaw. His story is quite familiar to Patrick Mwakavi, but for his case, he had to contend with the king of the jungle, the lion, hell-bent on having him for a meal.
Nilisikia kitu ilikuwa ni makanyanga takataka hapo. Vika tochi, akamkuta huyu, akamwona, akajaribu kukimbia. Kukimbia, nikasikia hapa kwa mgongo hapa, akanikamata kwa mgongo.
All over the area, there's evidence of damage caused by animals that find their way into homesteads, an issue that the residents want handled. They said that the compensation offered by Kenya Wildlife Services is very little for injuries that have altered their lives completely.
Kamila nusu ndio nilikuja kulipwa na ile ambayo nilipwa na ile 50 na alikuwa nimeumia zaidi. Unaona huko hii mikono ilikuwa imeumia kabisa hii yote.
According to Section 25 of the Wildlife Management and Conservation Act 2013, in a case a person succumbs to wildlife attacks, it's stipulated that the victim be paid 5 million shillings, and for those permanently maimed, they are entitled to up to 3 million shillings. Charity Mwangi, NTV.
Now, manual borehole digging can be a hard task, but not for two blind brothers who've perfected the trade to make a living in Kisii. As the world marked World Disability Day last week, Evans Nyameyo and James Umbasa were not aware of such a celebration. They were busy starting on a new borehole contract they had secured. The two have overcome incredible odds and have shown how one's personal dedication in the face of adversity can help an entire community, regardless of their physical disability, as our reporter found out.
At the quiet village of Mangere, Boochi, Tendere Ward, Ogembo Sub-County in Kisii County, two extraordinary people have risen above the odds to undertake a very difficult task, sinking boreholes. Brothers Evans Nyameyo and James Umbasa are blind.
Nilipika macho mwaka 85. Yani kupikia waleo, kazi yangu nafanya, kazi yangu ni kuchimba chimba hivi, napata sabuni kidogo kidogo. Mwanzo tulianza masimo hii, ni samani, lakini huyu alitangulia kutolewa macho. Alitolewa wakati alikuwa shule.
As one is digging, the other waits to pull out the soil. They have sunk more than 200 boreholes in the area and they say they are not about to stop.
Tumemaliza miaka hata 15 hivi. Nafikiri ya hapa mchi. Sio hapa peke yake. Kuendelea paka huku paka Sameta. Ni nyingi. Wakati mwingine unapata mvua inanyesha, upande na upande, inakuwa nyabu yani inakuwa yani nyororo kanyaga hivi itaweza kuondoka. Kwa hivyo kamba kufunga, ndio tunaendea kwenda chini na kurudi juu. Hatuchimbi ile kando hivi. Ile masima hakuna.
Alimelima visima 200 zaidi ya 200.
Although the two were not born blind, Washington Umbasa, their brother, fears he may be blind soon because he too is partially blind at the moment. Even as the world marked the Disability Day, the brothers feel that the government can do more for the people living with disability. However, they are not aware of the World Disability Day.
Jana hatukutangaziwa, tulikuwa hapa, hatukutangaziwa. Yani tujue hapa salini inakuwa wapi. Tulianzia 2002 kuomba serikali tusaidie, tusaidie namna yoyote itapenda tusaidie. Tunakosa ya kupata, ndio tunafanya hii.
Evans and James are a living proof that life can go on despite any challenges. Janet Nyamwamu, NTV, Kisii.
Niaje, want to invest in a biashara that will take your hustle?
In the world of sports with our sporty lady, Ida Waringo.
Yes, indeed, Zain. Let's get sporty. Unfortunately, the dismal run does continue for Kenya, who will take on Zimbabwe in the classification playoff of the Cape Town Sevens after going down 34-31 to Argentina in the Challenge Trophy quarters. Leonard Mugaisi, Alvin Otieno, Vincent Onyala.
All right, thank you so much, Aiden. It will be very interesting to see that match between AFC and Kariobangi Sharks later on in the evening. Thank you so much for making the time for us. My name is Zainab Ismail. Good afternoon.